Well, good day, my friends. We are in the beautiful town of Kannapolis, North Carolina, the home of Dale Earnhardt. They have a amazing statue here in the Dale Earnhardt Plaza of the Great Intimidator. It's 9 foot tall, so literally larger than life. And he doesn't have a gravesite that is accessible to, well, really anyone except for, I believe, his wife. It's on the family grounds, and even his children can't go see his grave. But I'm going to come here because there's a really interesting museum here in town that has some Dale history in it. And I figured, what better way to start than to see this amazing statue here. I mean, this was basically like the John Wayne of the racing world. This is a guy who, he was as tough as they come. I remember Darrell Waltrip one time saying, you know, you'd be racing Dale and you'd be battling, doing everything you could to get around him, and you'd finally get around him and then you realize, you idiot, what are you doing? Now he's behind you, and now you are where he wants to be. He was tough, man. He was Rookie of the Year. The next year he was Winston Cup champion. Had an amazing career, and one of his storied things was the chase for Daytona. He, for 20 years, battled trying to win the Daytona 500, and everything in the world stopped him, from running out of gas to blowing out a tire to just wrecks, everything you could think of. And then in his 20th year, he went, and a child who was there for the Make-A-Wish Foundation gave him a penny and told him that she knew he was going to win, and he glued that penny to his dashboard and he won. And then sadly, in 2001, he would lose his life on that same track. 50 years old. And then, like I said, his burial is on his actual ranch farm that he and his wife Teresa lived on. And it's kind of basically set in the woods. There they have the Intimidator, Dale Earnhardt, our best friend. Well, here we are at Curb Music and Motorsports Museum. It's because the owner of Curb Music is Mike Curb, and he also ran a NASCAR team from 1984 to 88. He actually had Richard Petty, who was 7-time champion, would drive for him. And I believe this building was the race shop when he was running race cars out of here for Richard Petty, Dale Jarrett, and like I said, even gave, I believe he has that first Wrangler car that Dale Earnhardt raced in. So upon walking in, they told me this is also the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame. So this entire side of music memorabilia is the Hall of Fame, and then this side is the Curb Motorsports. So let's take a look around. I'm excited. I don't have any clue, other than Dale's car, what is here. The Napa car. Greg Biffle's car over here, the Redmond. Brad Baker. I'm going to show most of these, if I know what they are, if I can tell you. Some of these I'm not sure who, you know, I'm not a super long time NASCAR fan or anything, so I'm not sure who 43 is. Oh, here we have an older car. That's Dale Jarrett's. And that's Ron Bouchard. That's an interesting one. Tim Gross, look at that. Long nose. Skull Bandit. Nelson Paquette. Gemini. I'm not going to know any of these. I'm going to show both sides though. I'm going to show the Music Hall of Fame. It's actually, this whole place is free, they said. Look at that. You can see it getting fueled up right here. And then right directly behind us is the car that I was really excited to come see. Right there. Look at that. Wow. They even have the trophy here. 1980 Winston Cup champion. Yeah, I think he was Rookie of the Year and everything. But from what I understand how that works is that you're allowed to race. He was allowed to race some races in '79, but I think he couldn't race more than like 6 races, or that would be considered his rookie year. So he was primarily just did a couple of races to get in there. I know he destroyed one of Darrell Waltrip's cars. But there's the number 2 Dale Earnhardt. Right next to a Richard Petty, because Richard was racing for Curb also. But that that looks like that's the Curb fire suit that Dale possibly would have wore. So the information they have here says in 1980, this Chevy Monte Carlo driven by Dale Earnhardt was the car in which he won his first Nextel Cup, formerly Winston Cup championship in 1980. Cars owned by Mike Curb Motorsports, which is the same company that sponsored the car for Dale Earnhardt's 1980 championship season. Car has special significance to Tennessee because it was won at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, now known as the Nashville Motorplex. In addition, this car won the Bristol 500, which has become the biggest sporting event in the state of Tennessee. This car also won races in 3 states, contiguous to Tennessee, the Charlotte 500 and the Atlanta 500 and Martinsville. That's pretty cool. That is pretty freaking cool, man. And then this is a 1984 Richard Petty Pontiac STP sponsored. It was a long time sponsored by STP. It says this was driven by Richard Petty, who won his 200th victory at Daytona in 1984. Richard Petty's 200th victory at Daytona was selected by race fans as the greatest moment in NASCAR history. The event was attended by then President Ronald Reagan, who presented the winners' trophies to Richard Petty and to car owner Mike Curb. The 200th victory represented an all-time NASCAR record, and at the request of President Ronald Reagan, Mike Curb donated the Daytona winning car to the Smithsonian Museum in Washington. Richard Petty won his 199th victory at Dover Downs in Delaware in this car, which is identical to the car that won the 200th, which is now in the Smithsonian, the only race car in the Smithsonian Institute. That's pretty awesome. Wow. All right, those are the main things that I came to see over here. Now let's go see the music museum. I'm not real sure who all the musicians are that'll be in there. I can think of Superchunk. I like merged records, so anything from Superchunk will be cool, but let's see. I think John Tesh is actually from here. Maybe they'll have something from him. Robert Moog, I'm a big fan of his. I like his machine. Squirrel Nut Zippers. Jermaine Dupri. Warren Haynes from Government Mule and the Allman Brothers Band. Avett Brothers. All right, over here, I immediately noticed Benny King, the singer of Stand By Me. We have a couple of his suits over here. It's very cool to see. And then I believe this is the bass player from Chic. That's his bass. Over here on the left we have saxophonist Maceo Parker and Chuck Brown. Some really cool attire worn by Chuck Brown, and he's actually wearing it in that photo. And they even have some stuff from George Clinton, signed photo, some of the records, acknowledging that George Clinton of the Parliament Funkadelic from North Carolina. The Nubian Nut. Wow, Flatten Scruggs. Earl Scruggs. That's really cool. Foggy Mountain Jamboree. Even have one of his banjos here on display. Foggy Mountain Boys he played with also. Oh man, so many great songs by them. Story of Bonnie and Clyde. Jed Clampett, the Ballad of Jed Clampett. Then over here is Curly Seckler of the Nashville Grass. They also have his mandolin and one of his suits. Over here in this section they have Ninth Wonder, some of his clothes. Probably not a lot of people in my viewership knowing who Ninth Wonder is. But they probably know who Roberta Flack is. That's Roberta Flack's. It was actually donated by her. They have a really nice signed picture also back here. And you can see that there's a letter of authenticity from on Roberta's own stationery and signed by Roberta. Oh yeah, Charlie Daniels. Wow, I wasn't even thinking of Charlie Daniels. They have some of his clothes here. And by golly, wouldn't you know, they actually have a photo of him wearing them, including that hat, which is in that case right there, and one of his fiddles. That is pretty cool. And then Jimmy Capps, guitarist. I have a poster of him up here at the Grand Ole Opry. That is pretty cool. Some of his guitars. His clothing. And then his award for participating in the Oak Ridge Boys. And apparently he was sheriff. He became sheriff. Wow. Then over here we have Randy Travis. Great to have Randy still with us. There was he's had a lot of health problems over the years. He seems to be doing better. Even Randy's hat. How cool is that? And one of his guitars. Very cool. And his display is right here by Kelly Pickler. And it says, have a picture of her on the military magazine and also in Beauty and the Beat, Veggie Tales. And then this is really cool. They have some John Coltrane stuff and Nina Simone, both. While an acknowledgement of Nina, they don't really have any memorabilia other than just some pictures. But John Coltrane actually went to his childhood home last time I was in North Carolina. There they have some of his clothes and a signed saxophone. I noticed they have the Squirrel Nut Zippers kick drum head roasted right, and looks like some of their early promotional flyers from when they would play local gigs, as well as when they went gold, which that album was big when I was in high school. Also acknowledging Thelonious Monk, who made records with John Coltrane. So over here we have the Avett Brothers. Looks like they have some of their clothing, and there's a photo of them, as well as one of their guitars. And then this looks like this also is a drum head in here. But this is pretty cool. They have some handwritten lyrics and some photos from them on tour. And recording. You can see he's recording. Ronnie Millsap. Wow, look at that outfit. That's somewhere between Elvis and Nudie. Snazzy, man, I like it. I like it a lot. Very classy. And then right next to him is Billy Crash Craddock, solo artist. There they have his guitar strap with his name on it right there. And then the songs of Charlie Poole, Life and Death of Charlie Poole. And over here is the Jermaine Dupri. He's done a lot of stuff. Worked on tons and tons of stuff. Was even romantically involved with Janet Jackson. I believe had a child with her. Oh, that looks like that could be one of his early recording consoles. I don't know if that's an 8-track or what that is, but that is really cool. So yeah, he worked on TLC. You can see that's for DeBrat. Really cool. It says on here, first to produce a multi-platinum album before his 18th birthday. Whoa, nice. That's pretty amazing. All donated by Jermaine Dupri. Then over here is Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs. That's a great purple outfit donated by him. The hit Little Darlin'. They have a signed record of Maurice. And here we have Clay Aiken from American Idol, like the first or second season. There he is. That is his jacket and some of his mementos, things he's donated, his book, CD, platinum records. And then we have Warren Haynes, who I mentioned was in Government Mule, the Allman Brothers Band, solo artist. There's his Allman Brothers record. That's a jacket and shirt, as well as a platinum record for him playing on Garth Brooks' No Fences. And then one of my favorites, Link Ray. I found out about Link Ray from the movie Road Racers by Robert Rodriguez, starring David Arquette and Salma Hayek. Amazing movie. They have Rumble as one of the theme songs that just continues throughout the movie. He was awesome. Amazing, amazing Link Ray. Okay, we have a lot of people over here. We have James Taylor. They have a James Taylor shirt and hat. And also a signed drum head by James Taylor. Right next to Kate Smith, who had one of the most famous voices of all time. People used to say that she is who Patsy Cline was originally emulating when she first started singing. She at one time was co-owner of the Boston Celtics. And then here we have Ben Folds 5, which I wasn't a big fan, but I liked a couple of songs when I was in high school. Then here's some of the music by Oliver. Good Morning Starshine. Looks like that's some of the original recording music for it. Tori Amos. This is Tori Amos's jacket. And her boots. Very famous pianist, singer. And one of her dresses. And they also have some of her jewelry on display here. And then also Mitch Easter. That's cool. His vest and his guitar. He was in Let's Active. There's the Hoppers. But they do have John Tesh. That's John Tesh's tour jacket. Loudon Wainwright III. Historic. His Islanders jersey from the cover of his record. That's pretty awesome. His skunk hat. That's cool. He donated a lot of stuff for the display. And George Beverly Shea, who wrote music for and arranged music for Billy Graham. You can see there they are right there. And this is Scotty McCreery from American Idol, season 10. It says that the jacket right here was worn after he won season 10, and then down here it says this jacket was worn at the 53rd Annual Academy of Country Music Awards. So if we go back here, Robert Moog, Bob Moog, he came up with some of my favorite instruments of all time, including this theremin, where you can actually make the sound change by waving your hand in between the vibrations. Pretty amazing. If you're a Weezer fan or the Rentals or that late 70s music, that was Moog. And this is Jimmy Johnson's car. Wow. I have some more cars back here, and I noticed back here that this one has Tim McGraw on it. Or part of Tim McGraw. This one has Lee Bryce. This one is Aaron Fikes, and it has Leanne Rimes. Then it looks like we have another Dale car down there. See it back in the corner? Oh, this is, I read about this. This is Leanne Rimes' car. It was gifted to her, but she ended up not wanting it and donated it and left her socks in the car. So there's the socks of hers. Crazy. And then back here is a Dale car. That is pretty awesome. Wow, this place was amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed it. a little bit of racing history, a little bit of North Carolina music history. Thank you all for watching. We will see you next time. Have a great night and goodbye.